Welcome to your Barbados Today Evening News Update for Monday, September 28th. An independent review team will be put in place to probe the results of this year's Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examinations and Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate results. Today's announcement by Chairman of the Caribbean Examinations Council, Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, follows mounting pressure from students and parents for a review of the grades. In a release, Sir Hilary admitted that the move was necessary considering the numerous concerns raised regarding the results in this year's CAPE and CSEC. He said even though he was satisfied with the manner in which CXC had conducted the 2020 exams in the face of the COVID-19 pandemic, the issues highlighted could not be ignored. Sir Hilary explained that there would be ongoing dialogue with regional ministries of education based upon the official gathering of data relevant to all ventilated concerns, and he has promised that each and every formally reported case will be reviewed and where remedies are required, they will be applied. Now, the announcement of the independent review team came as students staged a second day of protests outside CXC headquarters, this time led by disgruntled parents. Bearing placards, the crowd marched from the junction at the Pine Plantation Road to the junction at Collymore Rock, demanding that CXC investigate their concerns. Spokeswoman for the concerned group of parents, Paula Ann Moore, told Barbados Today some of the students have until October 15 to submit their results to their universities and colleges of their choice.
We are not going to stop. We're going to pursue all various opportunities before us. This is but one, but all parties involved. We're going to bring pressure on our respective governments regionally so that they in turn will bring CXC to heel. They are accountable to us, and it seems as though the registrar has forgotten. We are also calling for an external audit because clearly CXC needs help. And it will also bring credibility to any solution that comes forth from this. So they need to regrade, they need to explain their methodology, they need to be transparent about that methodology, they need to demonstrate that they have investigated utilizing external forensic auditors, they need to apologize. If needs be, there are other avenues and routes that we can go, but we just want this resolved expeditiously.
In other news, whenever a COVID-19 vaccine becomes available, workers in the tourism sector should be the first ones to access it. That's the view of Prime Minister Moley, and she has called on the Pan American Health Organization to lend its support to the cause. Delivering remarks during this morning's opening of the two-day virtual meeting of the 58th Directing Council of PAHO, Moley said the COVID-19 pandemic had had a crippling effect on countries such as Barbados that depended heavily on tourism as a main economic earner.
As a co-chair of the FCCA America's Cruise Task Force, I have listened to colleagues across the region who are desperately calling for a safe restart to cruise tourism. As one of the most tourism and travel-dependent regions of the world, and therefore the region whose economies have come to a screeching halt with zero revenue, we have to find a way to jumpstart our economies. But it must be done in such a way so as to ensure the safety of our workers. I want to repeat myself. It must be done in such a way as to ensure the safety of our workers. It is for this reason that I've been advocating that the workers in the tourism and travel sector be given priority access to vaccinations and to therapeutics when they are fully available. This will allow thousands of our workers to get back to work safely in this hemisphere and to get our almost dormant economies awake again.
In describing COVID-19 as the mother of all pandemics, the Prime Minister repeated her calls for attention to be paid to small island developing states.
But COVID-19 is truly the mother of all pandemics for us. And PAHO has shown recognition of its complexities and understands the fact that this virus has brought big countries around the world to their knees. I therefore state today that you must continue to tailor your guidance to all of us, the big, the not so big, and the small countries like my own Barbados, for this novel coronavirus has set us back to the medical textbooks, even causing some to be rewritten, I'm told, given how the virus manifests or disguises itself or mimics so many diseases and conditions, and we will yet not know the true extent for some time. COVID-19, my dear friends, has struck at the very core of our existence as a unique people. It has an ugly side. It has torn our families apart, made it dangerous to relax in the ways we love to, and it has undermined the many ways we've made our livelihoods. And the isolation that has saved our lives has threatened our mental wellness and nearly destroyed our economies. But worst of all, it has made some of us even more selfish and unwilling to share scarce resources that could help save lives in our region, in our hemisphere, in our globe.
Vendors currently stationed at Fairchild Street and surrounding areas will be given priority when a spanking new Fairchild Street Market Village opens in November, so assured Minister of Agriculture and Food Security Inda Aware following a site visit of the facilities today with other stakeholders. He disclosed that the first phase will provide housing for small restaurants, while the second, which commences in the coming days, will make way for sellers of fresh produce.
When we are finished here with this Fairchild Street Market project, what we would have is a modern project that speaks to how people who are involved in business, small businesses, people who are involved in vending should be accommodated. And this clearly can be a template for many other market projects right across Barbados. I'm satisfied that vendors in food will be accommodated, vendors who are doing fruits and vegetables, but equally the cultural vendors as well, those who do paintings and those who do craft, will also be accommodated here. And that we have created enough space that light entertainment can take place in this area, and that people can come here to relax, enjoy a lunchtime afternoon, enjoy an evening after work, and that this market space will be conducive for that kind of activity as well. So all in all, I'm pleased, I'm satisfied that we are making good progress, and I eagerly look forward to the opening where we would first place the first 37 food vendors, and then look forward to the others being placed after.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional developments now, Prime Minister Dean Barrow is yet to name the date for general election, but opposition leader John Briceño is requesting that the date of the poll be deemed a holiday this time around in light of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Maybe we can give some serious consideration that whenever the election is called, that election day be declared a holiday in this case. And I say it simply, Prime Minister, because we're in the time of COVID. And some people have to go to work, we believe, city and rush to arrange up to try to vote. Or so last minute you have this big rush of people trying to get to the polls. I think that because of the COVID situation, that we can declare a holiday so that everybody has time to be able to go constantly during the day to vote and avoid that rush. I think I'm appealing to you, Prime Minister, and to everyone to give that some serious consideration.
It's a recommendation that Prime Minister Barrow is in agreement with.
I agree instinctively with what the Leader of the Opposition has said. This is the time of coronavirus. These are COVID-19 times. Already it will be a job, a chore to get people to go to the polls. There's a fear factor. If you add to that, if you compound the problem by making it logistically difficult for the reasons that the leader outlined, I think then we are not acting in a way that the circumstances demand. So I will put on record my personal agreement with his suggestion. We'll have to go to cabinet. I see my leader-elect saying yes. The Minister of Health is saying yes. We will, no doubt, well, the private sector will have heard this now or later today. And if they have any representations they want to make, please feel to do so. But I think it's a fine idea.
And finally, on the international scene, an explosive report in the New York Times claims that U.S. President Donald Trump paid just $750 in federal income taxes the year he ran for office. And as we hear in this report from Reuters TV, the Democrats are wasting little time in seizing on the news.
Democrats seized on a fresh line of attack on the eve of the first U.S. presidential election debate, accusing President Donald Trump of gaming the system after a report showed he paid paltry amounts of federal tax in recent years. Citing tax return data, the New York Times reported that Trump has hundreds of millions of dollars in debt amid chronic business losses that he uses to avoid paying taxes. The Times reported Sunday that the self-proclaimed billionaire paid only $750 in federal income taxes in both 2016 and 2017. Speaking on MSNBC, Democratic Senator Dick Durbin said this explains why Trump has refused to release his taxes, as presidents and presidential candidates have done for decades. Adding, quote, "Now we know why this so-called billionaire business empire is a house of cards. He is facing hundreds of millions of dollars of personal debt that will come due in just a short period of time, and he's had a string of business failures that he's propped up using his tax returns." Trump has dismissed the report as fake news. In a post on Twitter Monday, he said he had paid, quote, "many millions of dollars in taxes, but was entitled to depreciation and tax credits, and was, quote, extremely underleveraged in terms of his debt and assets." He did not provide evidence or promise to release any financial statements before the November 3rd election.
That's news. But for the very latest, visit us at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.